Before you watch this episode of our cityCURRENT radio show, I want to personally invite you to join cityCURRENT's e-learning and online personal development platform called GrowthCURRENT. I'm Jeremy Park, host of the cityCURRENT radio show and CEO of cityCURRENT. GrowthCURRENT is your exclusive ticket to attend virtual events with global thought leaders, national guest speakers, and experts who can help you grow personally and professionally. It gives you access to success secrets, lessons learned, learning modules, and so much more. Subscriptions are only $8 a month, or you can do bulk subscriptions for your team. Being online, you can access this anywhere around the world. So check out growthcurrent.co to learn more, and let's power the good together. That's growthcurrent.co to learn more. And now, on to the show. Welcome back to the cityCURRENT radio show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're honored to be joined by our good friend, Justin Inskeep. He is the Senior Vice President, New Business Development with YMCA of Memphis in the Mid-South. And Justin, let's start with, how are you doing, buddy?
Hey, Jeremy, doing well, all things considered, and, appreciate everything that cityCURRENT and y'all are doing and impacting lives. And but we're doing good. I'm doing good. Family's doing good. Y's doing well. We're keeping busy, and we're feeling pretty blessed about this time, to be honest with you.
Well, you have a lot going on, and you're doing so much good in the community. Some big news, and we'll start though with a little bit of background about YMCA Memphis in the Mid-South. Give us some context in terms of the geography, the footprint, and the mission and the purpose.
Sure. No, great. I appreciate that. So the Y of Memphis in the Mid-South has been around serving Memphians and the Mid-South for 165 years, believe it or not. So we have 11 branches serving Mississippi and also Tennessee, and then, impacting over 50,000 members and countless program participants through membership, swim lessons, all the things that we do, health and wellness, and childcare, leaders in childcare across the nation, as people oftentimes don't know, and why we're really aggressive shifting into this space during the pandemic. So I've been around 165 years serving a lot of people, a lot of programs, a lot of community partners like cityCURRENT and others. But right now we're really focusing, our membership branches are open. But we're really looking at this virtual learning space and how we can be true leaders in the youth development area during this time and just serve the community's needs.
Well, as you mentioned, one of the things that people don't often realize is how much you do the before school and after school cares. And so traditionally, in a normal environment where kids would be in the school, you do so much. So talk about kind of the normal side, and then we'll dive into what you're doing, as you alluded to, during the pandemic, because I think that kind of sets the stage.
No, I think so, and I appreciate the question. So, like last school year, we have a footprint in Shelby County Schools, have a partnership with Shelby County Schools and a lot of municipalities, serving over 3,000 kids before and after school with our partnerships. And then also DeSoto County, we have a fantastic partnership with DeSoto County Schools, serving over 1,000 kids daily. And then also not only enriching their lives and helping them academically, we also make sure that they're nourished, and we feed our kids every day too, which is something that the Y is extremely proud of. And just during this pandemic, we were able to serve close to 1.3 million meals since mid-March. So, but the before and after school, we are in that space, serving a lot of kids, 3,000 kids on a regular year. And we're still doing that too, but of course, not serving as many at this time for, of course, the environment that we're in.
So let's carry that forward, and you're making the big news, because you're helping Shelby County Schools and all those who are virtual learning. You're making it easy for parents. You're also really helping the students, because virtual learning can be tough. And so talk about what you're doing with virtual learning and how you're creating different centers and bringing people together to help the students and the parents.
Yeah, and I'll just say it as I always do, is, the Y's mission is to meet the community's needs, and then also meet people where they need to be met, meaning we all know that people can't travel to their local Y, and transportation is a barrier. So what we have been delighted to do is to partner with Shelby County Schools and an abundance of other community centers, churches, other partners across the Mid-South, to offer over 100 to 150 virtual learning academy sites, because we know that families and kids at this point in time are trying to figure out what to do and how to really make this work. So we feel that we'll be engaging with over 10,000 students throughout Shelby County area, and offering full day care. So essentially it's a full day care option with the traditional model, right? Like a day camp traditional model with the feeding component, the enrichment component. But what we built in is a component to work with the kids, make sure that we understand their virtual learning schedule, assign them to a coach or a mentor or a teacher so they can achieve their academic success throughout the day, while mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, guardian can go to school, can go to work, and have their child, their most precious commodity, if I could just say that, in a safe learning environment. And so we're really at this time trying to build our team out. So when you're impacting over 10,000 kids at new different sites and trying to learn how we can best serve in the space, we're really focusing on hiring right now. And I'll just mention too that registration just opened at 10 a.m. this morning for our virtual learning sites. So you can check that out on our website at ymcamemphis.org, or check us out on Facebook. But we are really looking for caring, honest, respectful, and responsible individuals that want to join our Y team and impact these kids' lives. So that's one thing that I really wanted to highlight today is we're having a hiring event, events Monday through Friday from 9 to 7 here at 7171 Goodlet Farms Parkway, which is our corporate office. And then on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2, and you can find all that information on our website and our Facebook page as well. So come join a winning team and help us impact lives through this virtual learning academy that we're getting involved in now.
Yeah, and so I mean, this is obviously a great job opportunity to help, to be a part of the Y, but also to help the students. And I want to go back to kind of what you're doing to set the stage, because I think it's really important for parents to understand what this means. And as you alluded to, the ability for parents to know that their children are going to be in a safe place. But when you talk about virtual learning, there are so many nuances to it, because it's the structure, it's access to the Wi-Fi to be able to be online, because at any given point that can drop. And so going to a place where they've got the backups and all the things to make sure that the students are going to be taken care of, but also too, the success coaches, like you mentioned, who can make sure that the students are logging in on time, doing their homework, paying attention. And then they have the enrichment and the food and the nourishment. And so I think those things, when you put them together, the ability for the parents to go to work with the peace of mind, or to go to school with the peace of mind that their children are safe and learning, and then for the students to be equipped with the foundation of success in a place where they have help and access to the online interaction in the classes, to me, that's where it's a win for everyone. And I think that's why what you're doing is so important, because it can be very tough if the children are at home and they don't have access and they don't have someone watching over them to guide them. And I think that's what you're doing, and that's why it's so important.
Yeah, Jerry, and I appreciate you saying that. And I think we were talking off the air, and we always say, if not us, then who? Meaning, if not the why, then who? And we're just, we also know we're not experts in everything too. So we rely on collaborations and partnerships. And the why is we're proud to be conveners too. So how can we engage the community? Locate really, strategic partners that have kind of the same value sets, and to your point is hiring the right people too that can engage these children and really make sure that the experience is high level and quality, because that's what we promise every single day. One thing I would mention too is the Y never turns anybody away due to financial inabilities too. So, excuse me, that's always something that I always talk about with you, I think, and others. So, in this environment, emergency childcare, we did the emergency childcare piece, did the feeding piece. We continue to do that, shifting into this virtual learning space. We're proud to mention too that all kind of first responders and essential workers, their childcare could potentially be 100% covered weekly too. So if you're, essential worker, you can get on the DHS website, fill out a form, and then what that does is that will designate you as an essential worker. Then you can sign up through the YMCA's portal. So there's that, that option too. And if you're not an essential worker and you need care, there is an investment that we ask folks to make. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, is we never turn anybody away, and our partners know that. And that's why every year, as you know, we raise funds and awareness. So the virtual learning academies across the Mid-South is open and available to all, and we're very proud to say that.
How can we help YMCA of Memphis in the Mid-South? And I'm thinking, obviously, as we talked about, you're looking for new employees to hire. So that's one piece of this, is that's a huge opportunity for everyone to be able to go into the learning academies. Second, I'm thinking, obviously, the donations to underwrite the scholarships and the efforts to be able to underwrite the efforts of what you're talking about. Is there a need for more learning academies and centers? So talk about the different ways we can help.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate you saying that. We always, talk about, we need assistance from people. And we always say, we would love for you to consider providing your times, talents, and treasures, right? So volunteer time, advocacy, connecting us to other potential partners, or as you mentioned, helping us underwrite scholarships and giving us the opportunity to always say yes to families in need, even if, the investment doesn't match their current financial state. So that's a big piece, and would love to talk to anybody and answer any more questions about how that would look and how we can engage you. And then I would also say, one, as I mentioned, the hiring piece is right now, as I mentioned, we had the hiring events. And one thing that would be really, really helpful to the Y and the community and the kids that we're serving is to get on our Facebook page and share our hiring events, just to get that out to the masses. So again, we're Monday through Saturday at the Y, we're doing hiring events, and we have a strategic team that, provides all the, get you in the continuum and get you through, all the kind of pre-screening assessments that we ask. But to answer your question, people's times, talents, and treasures are vitally important to our work, and bringing partners alongside us and engaging them in that way. And then again, just sharing our events and sharing, what we do on social media is very, very powerful. And that's one thing that I would ask that the audience would consider, getting on Facebook and finding those important posts. And then just sharing those, out, which is extremely powerful. So I'm asking for the audience to do that today.
Yeah, help power the good, share the good.
That's right. I haven't heard. Yeah, I need to hear that more. We need to get together again. Gosh, and that just power the good. That's just such a great message, and that's what we're trying to do, just like y'all are too. And so many in Memphis and the Mid-South at this time, and we've been really fortunate to just see everybody come together during such a uncertain time. So proud to be a Memphian, proud to serve these communities and really see people come together during such such an uncertain time. So we're excited to move this work forward. The youth development is very important to the Y, along with healthy living and social responsibility. But virtual learning academies are kind of what's front and center for us at this moment.
Absolutely. You mentioned the importance of the feeding, and for many of the students who, if they're not in school, unfortunately don't have a meal in many cases. And so the feeding program that you do, to me, once again, is really important for the nourishment of the children, but also to their learning. Carry that forward in the sense that when you look at the nourishment, when you look at the health and safety for the learning academies, I know that you were, recently on the news talking about you'll follow the social distancing protocols and make sure that everything's in place. But talk about kind of health and safety with the learning academies.
Yeah, so obviously the CDC guidelines, following, those to a T. And one thing that we're really proud of is our team is very well versed and had been trained and have been going through training after training after training since March. So One thing that I would mention is our teams of childcare leaders have been doing this work with emergency childcare since mid-March. So with their training, the amount of time that they've been working in this space, and abiding by the CDC guidelines and local guidelines and state guidelines, we are very confident and to be honest, really impressed with our teams on the social distancing piece, obviously better understanding how we can keep every child safe. So there's procedures and policies that come into play. So kids that come in, obviously there's a screening process that's not intrusive at all, but the Y is definitely doing our due diligence and following all the guidelines. And not only that, but taking extra steps with cleanliness and having people coming in on a regular basis and understanding what their roles are as far as, keeping our centers clean on a regular basis and abiding by not only the CDC policies and state and local guidelines, but our community centers and our partners. They have specific suggestions and things that we have to abide by, and as being a strategic and great partner too. So to answer your question, we're well positioned. I'm very proud to say that. But we've been doing it since mid-March too, which kind of gives us a leg up, to be honest with you. So, but we continue to find new ways and be more strategic and intentional with making sure that, as I mentioned earlier, that our most precious commodity, our children, are safe and enriched, and then they go home excited and ready to come back the next day.
Give me one thing that you've learned through the process. As you mentioned, you and your team have been doing this since March, but give me something that you've learned in this process of the pandemic that you think is going to make you stronger coming out of it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that question. And I think the ability to quickly understand the community needs, bring a team together fairly quickly, and mobilizing resources and really communicating that out and actually executing quickly, and sometimes you have months and months and months to plan for something that's in the forefront, but we're not in that environment, of course, and everybody is working in the same space. But I think kind of pulling folks together collectively with the Y, and I said earlier off the air, kind of all hands on deck. So what I've learned is our capacity of our team, the passion for our teams are extraordinary. So I've learned that we're all willing to drop what we're doing and fulfill the need of the community. And that's why I love the Y, and I've loved the Y for 18 years of my career in the Y. So that's just one thing I've learned, is we're collectively willing, able, and excited to do what it takes to serve the community. So that would be one thing that I would take from it.
Yeah, good stuff. Justin Inskeep, Senior Vice President, New Business Development with YMCA Memphis in the Mid-South. Go ahead and wrap up and mention again the website, social media. Where do we go to learn more and to get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website, ymcamemphis.org, a lot of great information on all of our programs, virtual learning locations, maps of where they're at, registration processes, then our Facebook page, of course, and get on there and share.
Well, Justin, greatly appreciate all you and your team are doing. Thank you very much, and appreciate you coming on the show.
You as well. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate you, and y'all stay safe, and hope to hear from you soon.